Does that mean it's working now? Hi. I had to turn off my Wi-Fi. I'm Alexa Hampton. This is 52 Weeks of Design. And today we have some major news as well as a major... When we are speaking, Sophie Dow.
Yo, dude.
Yo, dude. Enfin, as they say in Montréal. Montréal. Hi.
Boy. How you doing?
I am so happy to see you. I haven't laid eyes on you in a while.
I know, and we used to hang out all the time. Sad.
Oh, sad. It hurts.
I was gonna say I don't miss High Point, but I do kind of miss High Point. I miss our.
Yeah. How about the time you flew home and we're talking about you expanding your family, and then you said I got you pregnant. That's what you said. By suggestion.
Topic of conversation.
Yeah.
Okay. Exactly what happened. I was like, I want to have another baby in theory because siblings are cute, and they are, as it turns out. That was my motivation, naturally. And I have a sibling who I love. And I was like, I can't do this. And you were like, just get a night nurse. I'm like, yeah, I need a night nurse on my editorial salary. That makes sense.
Sure. Whatever. I was like, it's worth it. Do it.
I was like resolved. I was like, all right, you're right. You're right. And I literally got pregnant that night. In retrospect, like at the doctor, like count back and like, when was your last period? And like, oh, it's like, wow. But I was at High Point, and I was like, no, I was coming back from High Point with Alexa. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So
so before you tell the news, so we can let everybody...
Not another baby, and also...
No, it's not another baby.
It's just some professional...
It's nonetheless very exciting. But a lot has happened in the last... I can't even tell what year is what because of COVID. So when did you move to Canada?
Great questions. We moved in July 2019, so it's been 2 years and change here. So we had 6 or 8 months pre-pandemic to like acclimate, meet some friends. And then it's just been a pandemic slurry since then. But it's
been a great place to be during the pandemic, has it not? Ooh, somebody's calling you.
It's been an amazing place. I'm all good. Hang on, I'm plugging in.
Okay.
Hold please.
I'm holding.
You're too pandemic, and you think that like cords and all of that would be better off now. It's been an amazing place to be. I mean, Canada, I can't speak for Canada. I'm in Montreal, which is in Quebec, and that's what I can speak to because it's a really different place than the rest of Canada. And Canadians don't treat it as their own, and Quebecers don't really think of themselves as Canadians because of le français. I mean, it's really different here. But not unlike the way that like New York and LA and a lot of major cities or places are just different kinds of places within America. You're like, New York is in America, and you're like, so to speak, like it's still like a very different kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's been a lovely place to spend a pandemic and hopefully a lot of other years too. But yeah, we kind of went to like go and I don't know. I think we told our friends we were like trying it, but the plan was really to move here, and we have.
Oh, I knew you were moving there.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of like a softer blow to be like, we're gonna study abroad for a year or two and see what happens.
Yeah. So obviously everybody knows you from your editorial tenure at House Beautiful. How did you get?
Oh, you cut out. How did I get
calling? And I'm not accepting.
How
did you get there?
House Beautiful was quite, I mean, the story is pretty pat. I mean, I studied journalism and writing in college, and I was really drawn to that just because I like people, and it was like a way to hang out with people, really, quite frankly. It's starting from high school.
So it's bartending.
I also did that. And so, yes, one of them is a like really viable career path. The other one is a path to rehab, and I chose the former. But bartended just long enough to have a blast. Yeah, you're right. Bartending would actually probably be my other job.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I mean, it was cute. It was back when you could like move to New York and like find an apartment on Craigslist. And I don't know, I found my, you know, like a friend of a friend was like, come work at like Us Weekly, where I was
You
like,
worked at Us Weekly?
I know, for like my first month in New York. I mean, so bizarre, so weird. And then I was offered a job at Allure and one at Hampton's Cottages and Gardens. And being that I am a New England girl that knows not so much about makeup, a little bit more now, I chose Hampton's Cottages and Gardens and like looked up the Hamptons like on a map. I know, fancy,
The
but
Hamptons?
definitely didn't really know what it was about. And yeah, I landed in editorial, and you can a little bit do the math to know that, yeah, I went in and out of editorial positions. But Newell Turner is who hired me at Hampton's Cottages and Gardens, and his number two was Lockhart Steele, who founded Curbed and Eater and all those great sites. And there's another tour de force. And yeah, those
it also has like the greatest stage name on earth.
I mean, the best, best. Is both of them, both dear friends of mine still. And Richard Extract, the publisher, also great friend, great art collector, cool guy, and his wife. So that was like my initial family. And I had a lot of editorial jobs in between. Margaret Russell at Elle Decor being another great mentor, and who really whipped my writing into shape, I would say, more than anyone in that run. And then, yeah, it was being back in touch with Newell when he was editor-in-chief of House Beautiful.
Right.
That he got in touch with me, and I was, I don't know, working on startups and doing a little bit of writing, and I just had a baby.
Just a couple things.
Yeah, and sort of called me and was like, would you be interested in interviewing for this? And I was like, oh no, thank you. And my husband was like, yes, you should at least take the call. Like, take the call, you know, go talk to them, see what it's about. And I anticipated all the hard parts and not the fun ones, right? Like, I had a pretty clear vision of what would be sucky about that job, and I was right. And he was even suckier than I knew it would be. I actually like so much more in so many more diabolical ways. But what I didn't know at all was how joyful it could be, and who I would meet, and where that would take me. And so, yeah. So that's how that came about. Yeah, it was a cool run, but I was definitely not, I mean, there's a lot of people out there that can vouch for this. Like, I've given up editorial so many times. I mean, I'm sure you've heard me say this. I'm always like, I'm done with writing.
No, I never heard you say that.
Oh, really?
That's insane. Why would you ever say that? You're such an incredible writer, and you can hear it just talking to you.
Oh, that's very kind.
It's true. It's absolutely true.
I mean, at times in my life, because I didn't feel like I could afford to. Like, editorial positions are,
sure.
Like you're living in New York and kids,
right.
You're going to be a magazine editor.
Yeah.
Like, ooh, people do it, you know, but when I started my editorial career, we were like, it was like pre-internet, you know, and I don't know, there were still legions of fact checkers and copy editors and town cars waiting outside and all that. And I, you know, kind of got to those ranks really as like the last of the Mohicans, right? Like, I was one of the last.
How exciting to be there on the precipice as it all changed.
Yeah, I mean, I really would have liked to ride that wave, you know, like I mean, yeah, I don't think this is said a lot out loud, but isn't this what this is for? Oversharing here today on the internet?
Yes.
One of the things that really bummed me out about the House Beautiful situation at the end, which for those of you who didn't know, like, there was a big changing of the guards, and it like happened in a day and ended up on page 6. So that wasn't by choice, to spend more time with my family, as PR gladly offered me to share that story, you know, with the outside world. Here, write this press release. We thought we'd write it for you, where it said that you just wanted to spend more time with your family. I'm like, no, but I got fired from a job I love. So I'm like, not going to lie about it. People should know what happened. But the thing that bummed me out is that like, leading up until that, you know, you can feel, I mean, you're like, the tides are changing. People are spending a lot more time on Instagram than they are flipping through your magazine. Mm-hmm. And I'd spent, you know, a lot of time including with Clint Smith, and sometimes with Newell, but often alone up in corporate with ideas of what could happen next. Like, what is, what is the, I don't know, Domino's now very mature and sort of, self-actualized, but like, what does a young and fun, like House Beautiful look like? Like, what could that look like in print, or what would that look like in digital, or what would it look like if you scrapped the whole legacy thing and created something brand new and fresh, or kept parts of it, or like, how could you reinvent from inside like a real legacy, machine? And
well, I mean, you have to know that I sympathize with this whole thought process, right?
why?
Mark Hampton,
Yes.
being in a position to say, like, you don't want to, you want to revere and love and maintain what you can of a thing that is fantastic, but
you're also going to buy everything on Wayfair now. Just kidding.
but yes, have a second turn, or whatever you want to call it.
And that it's not off brand to innovate, right? I mean, this is what's sort of like nobody that started, nobody working at House Beautiful 50 or 75 years ago, or 150 as it were, was like, cool, we're going to make this thing. And then we always wanted to be just like this, Sure. And
but
so
it's interesting that you say that you've said a lot, though I've never heard you say it, like, enough with editorial, because I feel like even in the ensuing 4 years, or whatever that math is, 5 years, I don't know, you're just completely always finger on the pulse, always an editorial eye about what's going on, whether or not it's in the quote unquote editor. You and
I mean, to me, that was like more like Sabine Rothman and the market team. That was more my art director. Like, that was more the people on the ground. Like, your job as an editor-in-chief is to keep the brand thriving. And that pretty much means spending time with executives at brands that pay the bills. Hard stop.
But you still do that.
And yeah.
Because you're an advisor to.
That's like what I know. P.S. It's what I do now, and I actually probably do more like editorial innovating now on the ground with those.
Yeah, there is, I think, much more continuity than anyone would imagine.
Yeah, no, and that was like, and building those relationships and learning what a company with a vision has, and then what they want to do, and who they want to connect with, and being able to make that connection for them is super fun. Like, and that never grows old. But it's not like I'm like crafting word choice. Okay, that's a lie. Actually,
that is a total lie. Can I
right.
tell you something that struck me is anybody listening to this, go to Sophie's website.
Oh my God, my website is like a pretend website. I mean, go to my
hush you. So I always am like, about providing my own bio. Like, Hampton does this.
Oh, it's so cringy.
And you just went first person. You're like, enough of this nonsense.
Yeah, but in that website you can. I still have to turn things in. Then like, Donelson has appeared on the like.
No. I still thought it was. I was talking to somebody recently, and I was rereading my father's book about legendary decorators, and in reference to Frances Elkins, he says she used white as an act of belligerence. And I know, is that great? And when I read your first person bio, I felt your belligerence. I was like, shots across the bow. She is
to know me is to love me.
All you goof heads who are pretending that you're not authoring your own bio, I am here to say I am in fact typing this in. I thought it was bold. It's also an
easy way to move parts. I mean, that's another thing that I struggled with. Is like, people that are showing up here, like, ugh. It's sort of like you might know me as this, but actually,
right. You're kind of like, feels like a pump, looks like a pump, feels like a tennis shoe.
Is there an opposite? No. You're right. I think we want the looks like a pump, feels like a tennis shoe. Yeah. Maybe that's my new logo, my new slogan. Wait, so I want to wrap on the HB thing for a second, because what I want to say is that the new guard, like, I definitely didn't know that like there was an actual new guard coming, like waiting in the wings to take my job.
We never do, right? I mean,
no, and I have to say, like, if you haven't ever gotten like just let go of a job in like a catastrophic, wild way, like, I recommend it. It's a real, real eye opener.
The anxiety, no fun.
No, it is though, but it's really humbling and it's really important. But I was totally open to doing something cool and different, and I was unafraid because what is there left to lose? I mean, it's like, they're like, congratulations, like newsstand sales are down 34% across the category, but your cover is only down 11%. Like you get the gold star today at the Hearst Tower. And you're like, oh, I know that should feel like a win, but this is all really depressing.
Metrics as a rule in any creative business, it's tough, right? I mean, you want to be unique and special and beautiful and influential and original and blah, blah, blah.
Also, like when you have like a chorus of,
be disliked.
It's also like when you have a chorus of women at the Colony Club being like, the last project was so, and you're like, I'll have a champagne, please. You're like, you have all these people to let, you have all these people to let down. And that's really hard. Anyway, so when the new crew swept in, like Joe Saltz and like her team have good ideas and they're fucking badass in a way that, probably culturally would have been disruptive to keep us all, maybe together in the same space. But I did feel like I think the biggest blow and the biggest hurt was like kind of like Hearst corporate to be like, you can't find any value in me around here, like find me some other job, like offer me to do something. Like I was a mom. If they'd been like, do you want to be like, a like contributing editor where we use your Rolodex and like your smiling face to tell people that it's okay that we're entering this new era, and I'd probably be like, sure. I'm open to trying new things. I wasn't wed to kind of the old ways, and that's sort of what bummed me out, because I've always considered myself enough of a vanguard of just being brave and seeing what's next. And so anywho, lo and behold, I am writing for House Beautiful in 2 issues. I'm not kidding. Yes, there's a story that's
so great. There's
a story that's really right for them. And I was like, and I knew it, and the girl that I'm writing about knew it. And she was like, I kind of want to be in House Beautiful. And I'm like, that's hard to hear, but
that is a very nice, though, full circle. I like a happy ending.
TBD. I mean, going back to being a freelance writer is like not, it's not my whole identity. But I'm also like, I'm just not opposed to being like, I don't know, to shutting doors. Like, why?
I defy anyone to summarize their whole identity. Okay, that's nonsense.
Right.
But especially you, because you are like such a polymath of design. You're all over the place and you have so many skills. And I personally, since I'm here talking with you, like I love going to things where you're talking.
Oh, that's nice.
I love it. You're so smart and brazen, as you have shown.
Yeah. I know you really got to be careful with those things. I was leading one yesterday for Tebow, and when I get a little feisty, like you just don't, and now they're all recorded. Like you don't want to be, you don't want to swear or offend people. I've definitely done it before, and I apologize. But thank you. Moderating is really fun. It's a crazy, like most of those gigs that I do, and have some really fun ones coming up it's cool. Some company or like entity is like, we have this idea. I'm like, great, let me gather like-minded people or people that can bounce off each other in like powerful ways, and kind of like pre-interview, get all of everybody's information. Yeah. Like be like, boop, 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 like kind of put it together and like not a script, but like, here's the vibe that we're going and here are the ways that we're going to prove
the content that will.
It is, but it's a lot of like, everyone's like, wow, you're so natural on stage. And I'm like, well, I marionetted the shit out of this, like good. Cause I have been on pre-calls with every single person on the stage. I know I'm like, you have a talking point and I'm going to cue you up right here. Okay, Alexa, tell that story. And you're like, oh, it's so easy. But it's really fun and everybody feels good and the room feels good. And that's a blast. And you know what? I mean, I miss a little bit being on stage just because I like people, but I don't hate it at home. I really don't.
It really doesn't have to be feast or famine. I mean, it does right at this moment in time, but it really, really does.
Yeah.
And also, I think what you're doing with brands right now, that's super exciting. Don't you find that Like
It's cool.
being given the keys to the, what's the suitable metaphor? Keys to the candy jar car. But to get
I
to know,
have fun. I mean, I'm joyfully, like I'm working with Anne Sachs right now, which hilariously in terms of like full circle, you know, like Greg and I met there at a party before we got married.
oh,
Yes, he was literally on his way to a party he was meeting friends at Old Town Bar and Grill, which is right next to Anne Sachs on 18th Street in New York. And I was going to an advertiser event with Cottages and Gardens, the crew there. And this, dude blows in and like introduces himself and ended up chatting. And that's literally how Greg and I met at Anne Sachs.
was he invited?
No, he just saw like a tray of champagne and he was working at Women's Wear Daily at the time as like a media reporter. And so crashing parties or just walking into parties is like, you know, it was 2003. It was really like
Right.
OG, you know, it's really nice. So so we met at Anne Sachs. Anyway, it's like, you know, 18 years later or something like that. They're like, we have this idea where you and your friend Clint over there can be like editorial ambassadors. I was like, I'm sorry, when do I wake up from this dream? That sounds super fun. What are my roles again? Like, you know, support the brand, come up with ideas, talk to us, go to showroom events, like introduce us to the right people. And I'm like, and there's money?
Yeah, like you could do
this did work. Like, oh, it worked, you know, but it took a while, Alexa. Like, not to compare myself to like Jenna Lyons or all of the people that might have sent me Jenna Lyons articles after she was let go of J. Crew, but she has gone on record to be like, nobody called. You know what I mean? Like, nobody called Jenna Lyons after it. Everyone wasn't like, oh my God, Jenna Lyons is free. Quick, like, call her, get her to do something cool. I definitely went through the same period after House Beautiful, which I was like, this is just like a beat. And then all of these cool people that I've been talking to or building relationships with will be in touch and we'll come up with something cool. And then I was like, no one's coming to save you.
Wow.
you have to get out there.
No, I think that moment in time that you're describing, in any case, wasn't just it wasn't just a spasm in print media. It was a spasm in the industry, period.
Yeah.
So I think it was a very scary moment for a lot of people in design, wondering what's happening. Who are we? Where are we going to go? How are we going to communicate with each other? So it was a big.
I mean, I still think that's all a little bit happening in real time. Like I can post reels, which makes me feel super slutty, and it's like,
are you putting on eyeliner? Have you changed your nose in a filter?
Oh no, I'm like no. I'm a little no.
I don't know why Instagram hates everybody's nose. They hate us in our noses.
I'm not even like cool enough to know about that. I just
no, you are so cool. I don't know about that.
Maybe they don't want to change my nose because it's exceptional, Alexa. Do you consider that even?
It is, but hashtag Instagram hates my nose should be trending.
I mean, it might start today. It might.
Anything new, Sophie?
Oh, thanks for asking.
Was that too abrupt?
No, it's fine. It's fine. So I did mean it when I said that, like, I haven't, like, I think, I talked to Dennis Scully, a dear friend of mine, yesterday, and I was like, blah, 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 my book. And he was like, are you writing a book? And I was like, yeah, you know, the thing is, like, I really wanted to just do it and get it out there. But do you know how long books take? It's like,
I do.
So long.
2 years, right?
So yes, if you have your shit together, you know, not saying I don't, but, so I sold a book, a number of months ago and finally started working on it recently, and it's cool. It's about basically imaginative kitchen design. And I think that us all out here with our great ideas and our beautiful homes where we mix high and low and vintage and custom and new, and we layer, and we're finally taking notes from the British, and like things are going swimmingly. The kitchen sucks. It is bereft of ideas. It is clinical, even when
it's so pro. You need this here's the triangle, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. And it's like caught up in this kind of like dedication to efficiency when, honest to God, most people are using their kitchens to like pack lunches and make martinis. Okay. It's like, we are not all home chefs, or like open their takeout, which is not a trend I love, but is true, you know? So the idea started when I was like basically watching decorators I love and admire kind of go gaga for the like British kind of unfitted kitchen. I won't even call it a trend. It's just a way of, it's a way
Yeah,
of,
it's having big rooms and not being able to like retroactively reduce them in order to fit an appliance range.
correct. And the other thing that happens in Britain and around Europe is that people move with their appliances. They buy an Aga and it comes with them because they bought it. And when you have a rental, you aren't always given rental appliances. You sometimes have your own. They are typically small. You sometimes have to make weird concessions, like jamming a table in between two spots because either you don't have the money or it makes sense or it doesn't make sense to go custom. And so there's this looseness and hominess that's actually like a lot more in keeping with how we kind of address the rest of the house. And it happens specifically, in these specific ways that can be as simple as sort of like adding a lamp or art or just like these homey touches, right?
A skirt underneath your sink.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah. And so there's that's happening. But I was sort of watching these people that do really sophisticated, really sophisticated fitted kind of show kitchens, which may or may not include chefs, you know, and this is what I want. And it's what's in the magazines for sure. And it's definitely getting likes on Instagram. But then people are like, they're like, well, you know, I don't know. Like I'm always like, the audience I speak to is like, oh, we love the name Sophie. Like it was a little bit too much for our daughter, but we named our dog that. And it's like, well, we love the idea of a British unfitted kitchen. Like it like makes my heart sing, but like for my home, I chose this more boring thing. And I'm like, well, you know, have you thought about what the other options are? And I realized there aren't that many other options. And there's a reason that sort of kitchens, many reasons, I will not go on a soapbox yet to talk about resale and the kind of like horrors that basically American homeownership have put people into, where their biggest asset is also, you know, their home, which is also their creative expression, which is also supposed to be good for resale. And it's like this like continuous loop where like playing
quotes.
Exactly. And where playing it safe and going gray like keeps it safe for resale because you don't really know what's going to happen. And so anyway, but point being, there's a lot of other ways, things that you can do even when you have that in mind kind of for the long term. But anyway, so I'm watching these people kind of like go gaga over this, and I'm looking out there and there's really not like a dominant either brand idea or place. There's a lot of places that do great kitchen coverage. House Beautiful is one of them. I love Veranda's kitchen coverage. Like there's definitely outlets, you know, out there. And more than that, plenty digitally.
And it's funny, back in the day, we didn't show bathrooms or kitchens like way back.
Oh yeah.
It just wasn't.
Yeah. And it wasn't, and now it's, I mean, I know, and that's all.
Woe betide the project that doesn't have that to show. Here comes Percy.
And so that's one of the, like the really big paradigm shifts that's also happened, right? Which is that like kitchens, right, used to be something that were function based. They were a woman's
and the domain of others.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody cooking for you or cleaning or who knows what. I mean, it sounds great. You know, like I would like to try this.
Like I don't not want that.
Yeah.
Anyway, but basically, there was like this world of kitchens out there, and yet if you went looking for it, it's hard to find. And then parallel to all that, oh my God, what a cutie. Hi. Hello. Alexa, I thought you'd have like chicer dog toys. What is that? Pick that up. Let's see.
It's an eggplant.
No. Let's see.
It's an eggplant.
Okay, well, that's nasty in your own dirty mind kind of way.
He's pulled it apart. I didn't get it for him.
It was Pavlos?
No.
Even better.
I think it was a gag gift from somebody, and he's taken to it. Moving along. Continue.
We all know what the eggplant means, Alexa. You're not getting by anybody on this one. Anyway, so it struck me that like people need more ideas. When I was working on like we bought this cool old house here in Montreal, and I loved everything about it, wanted to change nothing, and like lo and behold, the electrical is like, you know, ready to just, you know, murder my children in the night. And I'm like, okay.
Tiny little fuse box with the glass fuses.
Yeah, like knob and tube everywhere throughout, just exposed wires, like So we had to update that, and the ticky-tacky, really fabulous 50s cabinets in the kitchen, they weren't going to make the move. They weren't going to come down and go back up again. They're like, you have to replace these. And it was kind of heartbreaking. There's a Fabrizio Castigani, Jesus Christ, how to, Cast, all right, give me a second. It was in AD. It's a kitchen. It's white, slab front, but he has like these turquoise poles on it. And I was like, there's a lot of ways to take what could be kind of like considered a ticky-tacky or dumpy kitchen and actually make it crazy chic.
Yeah.
May or may not end up in AD. Anyway, so it kind of broke my heart. And so I was like looking, you know, for like kitchen inspiration. And what you find as you're working with a cabinet maker, you're working with a designer, you're working with an architect, is like the kitchen more than any other place in the house is like just filled with best practices, right? And what do best practices say to me is like, oh my God, I love you, Nancy Kazaragi. You're the best, girl. Nancy's my assistant on this book. If you guys don't follow Casa Cavaliere, right there on the screen right now, worth a follow, must do.
I just followed her.
Good. She's keeping my head organized in this game. So, and it's hilarious. And yeah, she has a group called Chintz Hose. Just, this is what you need to know. So there you are. So, we are looking for like inspiration. And so the best practices are just, you know, like all that says to me is like, we're going to do it right. We're not doing it fun, and we're not doing it imaginative, and we're not doing it a little funny because we can. Like, we're going to do it right. And that to me is just soul death. It's over for me for that. You're going to spend all this money to have a kitchen that people think is like good, or that they're like, that's appropriate. I'm glad you wore your white gloves tonight, Sophie. That was the right move. I'm like,
yeah,
really, like, F that. Like, I'm not here for that. It's horrible. And I get the choice. Like, I'm lucky enough that I have a kitchen and a home that I plan to spend my life in, and I get to make brave choices if I want to. But anyway, the book is for everybody from renters to renovators.
Like, give them license to have a soulful kitchen.
Yeah, and give them like real ideas, and put it on page and show kind of the amazing kind of spectrum stuff out there. So there's
really, it does feel like there's a dearth. I mean, it's like, you know,
but they're out there. They just needed a warm embrace. They needed a hug, and they need to share some space together. So TBD on how it all comes together, because it's like very eclectic taste, Catholic taste, as Whitney Robinson wrote. Very Catholic taste. So I have some amazing breakout, like DIYer Instagram denizens who are young and in strange parts of the United States that some of us would call flyover country, who are by hand making dope kitchens. And it's amazing.
Yeah.
And I also have like Rodman, Mac, and I have Wreath Design, and I have AD 100 and or A-list, and all of the, you know, the best of the best, you know, that are in there. I'm also, and I will be very specific when I ask, stop it. Yeah. I gave you an eggplant. Shut up.
That's what he said.
Exactly. Now you're on board. I wouldn't be us without dick jokes, Alexa. It's really great to be
I don't know what you're talking about. This is a fancy conversation we're having.
Anyway, so like we've got these great players, we've got these kind of startups, but the idea is just ideas, right? It's like, have some imagination. You don't have to do everything. So there's throwback stuff that's like very British, and then there's really modern, forward-looking things. And I think that
you're very Quebecois. You're a little bit French, a little bit Anglais. So
Franglish.
What number book is this for you?
So I wrote a book. No. This is my first of my own. I've ghostwritten some books and signed away contracts and can't talk about it. But that's an old chapter. I wrote a book with House Beautiful, also with Abrams, with my same editor, Shauna Mullen, who I love. And for years, she took me out to lunch, you know, like twice a year, and we would chat or something. And it's like, okay, when my firstborn arrives, like, it's yours. I mean, I didn't feel guilt like that. I liked her, and she does Bunny Williams books. I mean, she does Justin, like she's OG good people. So I didn't even agent this baby. I was like, so here's the story of what happened, because you'll like this. I was like blogging and Instagramming about unkitchens, right? The unkitchen trend, blah, blah, blah. This is how this is happening. I was like writing about my own kitchen, and people like good comments and just like action, spicy, so fun. La la la, LCDQ happens, and I don't get invited to anything anymore, right? Because like I'm a persona.
That's a no.
Well, not no, but like not so much. But it's chill. I'm living a life. I'm over in Canada. Don't worry about it. Things are going well. So LCDQ happens, and there's like an unkitchens panel, and like two people, like one of whom is on the panel, like kind of text me and are like, "Yo, I was talking about this at a party the other night," and they sort of like made a panel and sold it to Wolf Sub-Zero as like an event with this name and like with this like body of knowledge. And I was
That's
like,
an interesting pairing.
I was like, cool, cool. And here's the thing. I've got a lot of friends and writers out there in the universe, and we talk, and it's like, we talk about ideas, and sometimes it ends up in really big places and magazines and books, but like they are my people, or we mentor each other, or it's a collaboration. Like if you share a vendor, you're like not surprised if Jeffrey Bill Huber's like, hey, look at this amazing painted floor. And you're like, that I gave you the idea for, you're like, but
our conversations don't go that way. Like you got the idea for me. No, I did not say that to Jeffrey Bill Huber, but go on.
But
I hear you.
Fair enough. But the idea that like, if you're having that conversation, you're open to the fact that like,
yeah.
you may see it
down,
right. And you also might be like, take that floor, Jeffrey. I have my own ideas. Like you like ideas. I've got a bunch, right? So I've always operated.
And it is good to like not cherish your ideas as though they're like little diamonds.
Yeah, they say in writing, which is there to like, kill your children. Like you're like,
I
love that paragraph, and you're like, oh well, I love that book idea. You're like, I have another one. So I've always been really free like that. And I tell you on this one, Alexa, I was like, no, I love this. And I was like, well, if you love it so much, then we should be writing it, or you should be pitching something to the journal about it as a trend, or you should be like, you need to act on it. It's not yours just because you're like thinking about it in your head, like don't be ridiculous. Right. So I got kind of angry, and this is the first time this has happened in my life. I literally woke up at like 4:30 in the morning the next morning thinking about it. And I went downstairs and I wrote effing book proposal, and Greg read it by 9. It was in my editor's hands by 10 a.m. And a week later I'd sold the book. Because, like that, that it was just an idea. It was ready. It was ripe. I wrote it. It felt fast.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom.
And
sat around for 6 months being like, I sold a book.
But in hindsight, not fast at all. It was germinating all that time, and then was ready to be born.
Yeah, totally. How do we get the questions back on here? Somebody asked me something nice, but I can't.
You put your
finger
swipe up.
Oh.
Are you getting it? Is it there?
No. Okay.
No.
Maybe
okay, wait. Somebody asked you, are you speaking to what magazine and social post, what defines a kitchen is bogus? This I would agree.
No, but you can put yourself out there. No, you know what? Honestly, like one, I have to start like with resale, and that like people's homes I wish it was just like creative expression of creative people having fun. It's not. Like it's high stakes.
Right. Well, I mean, but nothing is like that.
Okay,
nothing is this pie in the sky thing. It all has to have some kind of practical application, right?
But two, if you have to add, like if you have enough room for like a 2-seater little breakfast nook, or you have to add a table, like don't buy it from Wayfair, like go get, a vintage piece, or paint something, or like basically like, the thing that it's just like use your head. Like the best practices have really relieved us from having to think through what might feel good in that space, and that it's always kitchen first. And what I really want is room first, kitchen second. Mm-hmm. If you're that kind of person, if you're a chef and you're like, I need no more than 1.5 steps between salt and pepper and olive oil, I'm like, can do you. That sounds great. Like, what you want. That's what I want. Like, think about what you want, how you want to feel, how you use the space, and then create a room for that. And that room may or may not have some elements that you're used to, and it may look different than other people's version of that room. And so, all I want to do is like create some like cool ideas for.
No, I think that's totally fair. And right now, in so many houses, when you see them, it's like a screeching noise, and about like,
well, I know they have these like lovely, these like lovely moments, everywhere else, and then it's like you're like, I don't know. So,
But anyway, cook, by the way.
Do I cook?
Yeah.
Yes, I do. I'm trying to think of like, nothing to brag about. I mean, what do we eat in this house?
Do you live a lot in your kitchen? Because I think of you as a living room gal, and obviously your office library.
Well, yeah, I've also taken over this strange room that is meant to be a dining room, but we've been under like restrictions in Quebec for a long time. They're lifting them soon, but like we've had a couple lockdowns and like many curfews, like
Yeah, right.
hardcore stuff. So I'm in this really big dining room now, which I co-opted now to be a office dance studio, which it's a twofer. Sometimes I find it pretty
Plain. Who's
cathartic to move.
dancing?
Oh, say again?
Who's dancing?
Moi, aussi mes
Ah.
enfants. Yeah. Me and my
Keeps
kids.
the doll, chérie.
Yeah. My first major in college was dance. And
Modern.
it's like a huge passion of mine, but I definitely don't express it enough. I mean, it really
God, I
comes.
can't even believe that. I feel like I don't know you at all.
Oh my
I feel
God.
like you've been harboring secrets, and I feel cheated.
Anybody that's like laid into a fourth tequila with me knows this. And we've gone way further, me and you.
I got you pregnant.
Guys,
Wow.
if you didn't catch the story, you're gonna have to go to
There's a story. Don't be alarmed.
you're gonna be very do this Instagram live.
Wow.
So,
There's
but just sort of reimagining the rooms, right? I mean, I think that's like part of it. Like the only like really productive thing other than selling a book during the pandemic that I've done and potty train my child, which was a really big victory, was I wrote a really great op-ed for the Times, like now almost 2 years ago, about being more imaginative in your house, in your space, moving around furniture, like, yeah, pulling a chair to the window. Like it was when, I mean, we were like 2 weeks into the pandemic, back when we still had creative and verve. But I believe in that. Like I believe in really, and it's one thing that I think the pandemic has done for people is like live hard in their house, right? Like a lot of us, not us here per se, but a lot of people out there, came here at night to like dump their bags, make a bite to eat, watch Netflix, wake up, go to work, repeat. And I feel like we're quite estranged from how we live, and who we are in our home. Like, I mean, so many people had never seen their living rooms in daylight. Like they didn't even really know. I mean, think about it though. Like,
no. I totally.
they're out running around or running out on, weekends, or maybe you go upstate or something. Like all of a sudden people had this like completely new lens on where they lived, and like seizing that and thinking about it. And also I think more than anything, and I'd be curious your take on this because it kind of flies in the face of like, it doesn't. A good floor plan, like a good floor plan has often occasional furniture, right? For the occasion of using a chair. So we would always have, like that idea of like, you need a straight back chair for some, like you need chairs for all ages, right? You need a straight back chair for somebody.
All activities.
Mm-hmm.
Reading, curling up.
Or like pulling a chair over to somebody older in your living room so that you're right here with Aunt Dee Dee talking to her, like you move the chair. That's what you do. She's sitting, you go to her. And that there was like this kind of like, so there's a bit of movement in, I think, a good floor plan. But often people kind of like set their things up and they're like, good, the house is done. And I'm like, no. But what if you did this?
This is where it begins.
And so I started like, it's not for showtime, but like I started working at this very cute desk here, which, like it has this flaps down and it's moved. I mean, it's been everywhere. But
by the way, love a side pony.
Oh. Because you don't want to be like, you don't want to like miss out that you have all this hair that I did for today.
So
anyway, now this is the actual shithole, with this beautiful, cool, I think it's a Jim Thompson, like, but so here's actually like the enormous dining room desk situation that I moved onto, because I was like sitting there and I'm like, but I have 40 books and all of these orange peels. Where am I going to keep those? Like, so now I'm at this, and there's another table in here ruining the dance floor because we're working on the kitchen. So, but it was just this idea that I was like, I'm at a part in my book where I'm laying a lot of stuff out. I'm referencing a lot of materials and feeling a little like I need to like dig in and like make a nest, and there's been times where I'm at my laptop and I'm there, it's just me and my laptop.
You can feel clean and organized and then turn around into the morass of your awesome dining room table. What is it like having come from, I mean, this is a story I never was in, I never saw it, but this obviously is a big house and you've posted it online a lot. Is this your first, does it feel like your first real?
No,
I mean,
I I think Jackson Heights, we lived in like a true classic 6, actually like a classic 7 with that maid's room. Jackson Heights in Queens when I was still in New York, and which we'd moved into right before House Beautiful, was definitely like my first real home, in that like it felt like a home. Like also it helped. I mean, adding kids is like presto changeo. This is a home. You know, I mean,
throw a grenade.
Whatever. But I definitely like, I thought about how I wanted to live there, and I was really intentional about the space, and that felt like. And I love apartment living. Alexa, I love it. This is my first house, and I'm a little, I don't want to say ambivalent about it, but like, I'm like, interesting.
I mean, you must take care of a lot of it.
I also make the most mess, you know, like.
Sure. I know all about that. From my own
standpoint. A lot of like started projects. And when you have 1,000 rooms, there's like always a project. Like I'm decoupaging the powder room right now with old National Geographic maps.
That's
in my free time. You know, which means that like I did the ceiling, and then I ordered a lot of maps, and they're just like
waiting for you to feel the drive again. Does at least your older son help you with this?
Oh yeah, Teddy's a pro. I mean, that boy's cut out for a life in the trades. He's so handsome and
he's done those beautiful things that you hung in front of your window one year. They were also decoupage, weren't they?
Yeah, we did that rainbow. That like,
amazing.
Yeah, ça va bien aller.
I felt like you were doing the mommy throwdown, and I clearly lost.
You know, there's inspired reels every now and then. Yeah, Teddy gets into it. He's pretty good with a hammer and nail. We hang a lot of art around here. Whoa, there's never not art to hang or rehang. Yeah, I'm pretty bullish about him being, you know, in touch with this, and like furniture rearrange. He's getting strong enough to rearrange furniture. This is a real boy.
He's getting shredded because of your furniture rearranging.
Yeah.
What does your husband think about? I mean, clearly, I would assume that you are driving the aesthetic in the house.
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, the library was like, obviously for, you know, Greg's a writer and a speaker, and you know, I mean, Greg likes neat things, which has to be difficult living with me. So there's places, and the kitchen is one of them, that we try to keep clean, which is a whole new us. Different. I mean, not like but like not cluttered, like just like ending the night and like wanting to walk in the next morning and be like, ah. So it's his job, or he's taken it on to clean it. He mostly just like listens to podcasts and drinks at night and really enjoys that downtime. But the library was something that we actively talked about. And like, I mean, I don't know if you have this in your house, but like book arrangement, where they go, how they're filed, what's showing, where it goes, at what eye level. Oh my God. I mean,
I'm the only person who gets to make this decision.
Well, let me tell you, the politics and the semiotics of what you see when you come to our house and when and why is like.
I know it. I majored in a literature and society, which was under the semiotics thing at Brown.
I'm very proud. I don't know. I Instagram storied this and nobody seemed to care, which is fine. I'm very proud of how I was like, I
don't care that nobody liked my thing. Why did I put it out there?
I figured out how to arrange my coffee table books, which I have to say, best perk of being a national EIC. Like, you know, the first time I actually bought, you know, a $75 coffee table book, I was like, you know, Lucille Bluth, like, how much can a banana be? $10? Like, I was like, $75 for a book from Rizzoli. I think it was actually Gil Schaefer's, and I bought 2, and I think they're $90. Anyway, I have these great books, and a lot of them are inscribed.
By the way, is it just me, or did you just like snort a vial of cocaine before you came on this? You're like so peppy. I need to.
Isn't everybody?
No, but you're the best. Go on. So you got these books.
We have 10 minutes left. These poor people are exhausted.
I'm never letting you go.
Oh my God. Maybe we could just hang out next time.
This could be like they shoot horses, don't they? We just keep going until one of us drops.
No, I'm definitely like most likely to sign up for a dance-a-thon. Yeah.
Okay, so the coffee table book.
You read that.
Nobody liked it. What was the end? What didn't they like?
So I arranged it as a dinner party. I arranged it where like Celery and Markham got to sit next to each other, and you got to sit across from them, and like it was like a really.
How big was this coffee table?
Well, no, it's a shelf, and so I had to choose a linear order for who to put where and how. And I was like, how am I going to group these people in a way that I can find the book? And then I was like, I'm going to group them by friend group and mindset. And it was like, it was a really amazing audit. I feel like you would appreciate it. And I'm going to send you a very
totally, because that is 100%.
Also, like, somebody gets to sit next to Mark Hampton. You know, like, somebody gets to sit next to Mark Hampton. I was like,
be a good,
you lucked out. Yeah. Or like, you know, Jacques Grange or somebody like that. And yeah, if it's not,
this is the coolest thing ever, and you got no love back. You need to do it again. That is the greatest.
There were a couple like fans. Anyway, but it was kind of, it was a really fun audit in my mind. Like, I'm wistful, and I feel really grateful telling Teddy that, like, a lot of the books in the library are people that your father and I know. Like, not the majority, but a lot.
Yeah.
Let's speak with Greg, or designers, decorators, or bloggers, or I'm like, they're, you know, all the big books are inscribed, and it's really amazing. Like, it's really.
Do you still not have a TV? Okay,
Alexa, great news for you. I know we're not supposed to talk about sex on this show.
Wait a minute. How did that get us back to sex?
Well, I'll tell you. We got a TV. That's how. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you know what keeps kids super busy downstairs?
Oh.
TV.
Okay.
I
thought you were going to Netflix and chill me. But
I myself have not watched the TV so much. I put my workouts on it. Of course I couldn't get a TV. I mean, that would be ridiculous. I would like having that eyesore, like, forget. Yeah. We got a projector. So the projector, what?
So you pull out a screen.
I now have the projector. So yes, you can pull out a screen upstairs, or in the basement. It just goes against the white wall, which is the only place you can find a white wall in this house, because I ran out of.
Don't worry.
Free time, and it's really nice. So, yeah, but I haven't watched any TV yet. I'm not like taking on TV yet. No.
What are you showing the kids? What are they watching?
Oh my gosh. What are they watching? Well, French cartoons. Teen Titans.
Got to get them Fantasia. A New York Times crossword puzzle clue just last week was, what was the first movie in, I think it was like Dolby's, in stereo, and it was Fantasia.
One of my favorites.
I think 1940.
Fantasia's amazing. Broom sequence, incredible. Dancing Flowers.
That would not be my favorite.
That still hit college to watch.
It stressed me out, though. I was stressed. He was going to get in trouble. I was stressed out for him. I like of course, the centaurs. A little Greek freeze moment for me.
Your Ashley Hicks art, by the way, is bananas. I was like wetting myself looking at that. I was like, this is so effing good. It's so.
Oh my God.
Oh, it's that. It's like,
offsides. I will also show you the new Celia that I have. But I too am writing a new book, and I don't want to give it all away, because some of the stuff here I would like to show.
I should show you my Celia, and you want to come along?
Yeah, please. Please.
Talk and walk. Tell me what else.
Show me. Well, what's behind your head? Oh, that's your beautiful.
This is horrifying. I didn't even like.
No, what's that curtain? Is that couch?
So these are from this woman Gail Eakins, who lived here. Really cool chick in her 80s. These came with a house, and I kept them, and they're amazing. Beautiful. My cool curtain lady rehung them. This is just like a roving tableau of crap. I love a roving tableau of crap. Like, this is a great one. I mean, it's all from like Stanford or like Craigslist.
Does Craigslist still exist?
I don't know. Here in Canada, they call it Kijiji. Finally got these. So excited. Circa Visual Comfort. Not going to tell you the lead time. They're Aaron, and they're amazing.
Listen, I just ordered some lamps that I'm going to get at the end of the year, and I'm totally okay with that.
I'm going to flip you, and this is really it's a real vulnerable moment here. Okay. So this is the front door. But I'll take that. Rejuvenation, and it's indoor outdoor. Oh my God.
That's great.
Hi. This is also Rejuvenation, a good rug. Okay, so right.
I love your palette.
This will have a painted panel, and then let's go see the wallpaper that's going to be of this room, because it's really good. Just somebody send me a chat.
That's my little easel light.
Oh, this is yours?
That's mine. Yeah.
You're genius.
For visual comfort. I thought so.
How do you like that?
That is not for me. This is going to be like a Instagram TV with like warning signs. Okay. So
So
Is that silver?
it's uh-huh.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Okay. This is my electric fireplace, and I have these really amazing pieces that I got at an estate sale. Can you see them?
Oh, I
They're
love
like
them.
pelmets. This is my
Love.
Celia piece.
Yay, seals. And that's my
Um,
semiotic bookcase. That
so
bookcase,
look at how great this
is in
is
my
going to be.
dining room.
Okay, so you have hang on 1 second. I know I'm doing a bad job at filming. Hold please. I really wasn't.
Isn't it weird that you and I look at the same book spines, only yours is.
That's so cute. Right. These books are Alexa's books. I know. And I tell that story, Alexa. This is a great Bunny Williams sale piece.
Wow.
This is my Avery Boardman trade sofa and a cravat fabric I traded. This is all estate sale, crapola.
I like the back-to-back.
Celery's mom gave me this cork table apropos of visiting her in Palm Beach. My life is charmed. I'll bring you in here in a minute.
Wait, what's that?
Look at this is like the Alexa room.
Yay!
Okay,
and that's Sophie, is it not? I think that plush mount is named Sophie.
Save that box. Anyway, here's my dinner party sequence.
So great. Oh,
anyway,
okay.
So but I wasn't going to show you this. I wasn't going to show you. Okay, and then I tried to see what would happen under this Brazilian mahogany rosewood situation to see what it would be like and if I could oil it. But now I'll just paint something there,
So wait, why is that?
Why can't I strip it?
No, what is it? It's just an area all by itself. What's up there on the right?
This is what we were testing to see.
So you strip that.
Yeah, this is the stripped.
Okay.
Anyway, so I have to decide what to do. Anyway,
what's your trim color? I'm loving this dark trim.
It's called Adagio, Benjamin Moore.
And I like your collection molding. Look at that. That's so great.
Anyway, and I've got this cool piece from an artist, Amelie, who I love here in Montréal. And then, you go back out. Anyway, so I had this idea. Tell me, Instagram audience. So Anne Sachs is a client, and so I can tile anything I want. Really? Not quite. But I have this idea that I've seen
of the chimney breast.
Oh yeah.
I'm there for it.
But so with what? You could do Zalige, right? It's kind of sparkly and nice. I do feel like it needs to be neutral, and I want it to be really either very matte or very hand because it's a living room, you don't want something too tiley. But anyway, so
the only thing that I would really be concerned about were you is that the tile has to end at the edge of the chimney breast.
But can't it wrap?
Yes, Dutch tiles. Somebody's saying that would be beautiful. No. Even if you,
there's something that has to happen here.
Well, kind of. But you can't.
Around?
I'm looking at your crown. Well, it's gonna bump proud of your crown, I think.
No. We're ripping the bottom crown off. How many crowns do you need? Look at this. It's too many.
Don't ask me that question. There are never enough crowns for me.
I
love a crown.
30 crowns. Too many crowns. Anyway.
So yeah, sometimes you need
send me your suggestions. Maybe I'll post something on the gram and people can weigh in.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes, please. I want to.
You're worried about it bumping up against that. Okay.
No, I'm just worried about when you put a mirror up and then you look at the side of the mirror, you just want it to resolve into something. So you're not looking at the edge.
Okay. We're going to figure it out.
If anyone knows, Anne Sachs will be able to figure this out.
Yeah, it's on them. That's my idea for this. I think that'll be a fun project.
I think that is fabulous.
Tell me about your new book.
What?
Tell me about your new book.
No. No. This is you. This is all about you, baby. A reeded look of light cream stone, says my friend Tracy Baird.
I love that.
She's feeling, that feels very Stephen Sills.
Oh, yeah.
Reeded.
Yeah. I can aspire to that level of chic. If you can dream it, you can be it.
Right? If you can see it, you can be it.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Aspirational decorating. I believe in that. I can grow into that.
God. Yes. I have no place living in my own apartment because it just doesn't match my personality at all, but it makes me so happy.
It's so in with you though. And I've taken so much inspo from you. I have. And I've got you all over the house. No, I do. And I have your stuff all over the house. It's the best. That's how you learn to live. Like
Miss
visiting
you.
people's places. So nice.
So,
I miss you
so
too.
when can people see you next? Do you? I mean, I'm going to Nashville this week, and I
Well,
think we're not.
I am not, but I do have a bit of a travel schedule, including with Ann Sachs, for some really fun showroom openings, and I do post them on my website. They're not up yet because we're firming up dates because of like, the virus and stuff. But there's some really good things happening on the West Coast, in
In the
Dallas,
spring, June, coming up.
soon, like a couple times in California this spring through fall, in OC and in Los Angeles, because there's showroom openings happening then.
Will
Something.
they have you speak?
Uh,
Because good.
Don't sign me up for anything. I'm not sure, but I'll be there in the flesh, and I'm sure I'll be doing something fun and
Okay.
clean. So that'll be coming up. And yeah, so that's on my site. And then I am endeavoring to write for, in my own way, either alongside this like book launch or something ahead. So I did put like a sign up newsletter type thing, because I don't really want to be beholden to the gram all the time to disseminate news. So if you like what I'm talking about, come on down. It's just sophiedonelson.com on my site.
So
You can sign up for the newsletter. And the
do you-
newsletter exists.
why do you keep Dow sometimes and Donaldson other times?
That was
What's
just my
the
that was my middle name, and like back in the day of like AOL, AIM, and Instant Messenger, I was just Sophie Dow's. It was just a shorter way to do digital names. But my last name
was a maiden name.
It's my mom's maiden name, so it's my middle, which isn't a so other than just that is the information. My name is Sophie Dow Donelson, which I think I'm going to put the book out as, just to clarify.
I have you down as both in my contact.
Two different contacts.
If you like what you hear, go to sophiedonelson.com.
Yes, you got it.
Yeah, right.
I think it's Sophie, like my French company name. But yeah, go find me. I know.
Right. Well, I want to see you in person. I miss you. If you don't come to, which you're clearly not coming to High Point this spring, will you come in the fall?
I'll come somewhere sometime. Send me an invite, girlfriend.
All right, I will.
I promise to cross paths. Might just show up at your door one of these days.
Okay.
I know where you live.
You'll be welcome.
Anyway, I love your 52 weeks. You have the coolest people on, and there's such nice people for showing up to say hi. And come at me. Come hit me in my DMs, friends. I could use some company. It'd be nice. Anyway.
Love you much.
You're
much,
the
Sophie.
best.
You're amazing. You're an inspiration.
Thanks, girl. Talk soon.
More coffee.
Bye.